Welcome back to CBS Sports NFL Insider here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Jason?
Doing well. Congrats on your 40.
Thanks, pal.
Very impressive, very impressive. I always had faith in you, though.
Oh, well, look, 6.02 is not the number. The number that I'm most proud of, and everybody here who took part of it on the Rich Eisen Show by donating to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is the money that goes straight to those kids.
Absolutely.
Let's go straight to the heart of the matter here. Is Garoppolo getting traded, do you think?
I don't think he's getting traded today, tomorrow, the next day. There's a lot of moving parts in terms of guys who you have to get now. You know what I mean? If you don't get Mike Glennon in the next 3 days, you're not getting him. If Tyrod Taylor hits the market, you don't get him in the next 24 hours, you're not getting him. Jimmy Garoppolo, would you love to have him, April 1st or whatever for the first day that the coach addresses the team and everybody starts lifting weights together? Sure, for to hand him his playbook and all that. If you got him for your first OTA and you think you're going to have him the next 15 years, does it really matter? No. Bill Belichick won't be in a hurry. There's no cash or cap ramifications there. He's not costing. It's not like, we can't carry Garoppolo into, cap compliance on March the 9th. So, yeah, I think you need to see how these initial dominoes fall out and who's left without a quarterback in the present term, and who values Garoppolo above the 4 quarterbacks who we expect to go in the first round in late April. And then I think that market will come into focus.
So Glennon and or Taylor, Tyrod, did they land in any of these teams in the top 10 of the draft, do you think?
Anybody who's currently, oh, my goodness.
Who is that?
That's Copper. It's Copper. He's a little dog, but he didn't sound it right there.
Look at that, Copper.
Yeah, he's feisty, like me, Rick.
I was about to say, whose bite is worse, yours or Copper's?
His bark is worse, my bite is worse, I think, if we're being honest here. Top 10, I'll say this. I think Mike Glennon's going to Chicago. I don't even know that there's that much of a second team really pushing them. I think they might be, to some degree, bidding against themselves. But that's where I expect him to go at this point. Tyrod Taylor, if he hits, he doesn't take what they have on the table, and they decide not to just pay him what he's currently owed, and he hits the market, Cleveland will be all over him. The Jets will be all over him. I would think San Francisco will explore him, and we'll have to see how that one plays out.
What about Kirk Cousins?
I don't think he's going anywhere. For San Francisco, that's a tough thing to do. I mean, if he goes anywhere, it's probably there. But you're talking about trading, let's just say it's even like a 1, a 3, and a 5. And you've got a roster that's in tatters. And then you've got to pay him Aaron Rodgers money. He's going to be making $25 million a year. He's going to be making Andrew Luck money. And you still have all these other holes. And now your ability to facilitate that through cap space has been suddenly compromised. And you're without all these picks. I mean, look, they're going to go hog wild in free agency if they get their way. They're going to be in on a lot of players. They already are. But even then, I just isn't kind of the whole genius of Kyle Shanahan that he discovered Kirk Cousins, and he won with Matt Schaub, and he won for a year at an unprecedented level with a rookie quarterback with RG3, and he was 7-4 at one point with Brian Hoyer. Boy, do you go get Kyle Shanahan and then, pay the quarterback $25 million and lose out on all those assets? I don't know. I don't know if that ultimately is going to make the most sense for them, especially when they're sitting there right now with pretty much they're going to have their pick of any college quarterback they want. Plus, there's all these free agent quarterbacks there who are Band-Aid guys like Hoyer and Schaub who have already played for him, already know the system, have already won games for him. I just don't know that that's going to – I think Kirk Cousins will be making big-time money in Washington by July 15th.
Jason LaCanfora joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Read the Romo tea leaves for me. How does this work?
Well, I think the real question is, would Houston trade something for him? Denver's not going to. It was in Tony's estimation, as I reported before the Super Bowl, there were 4 teams that really seemed to make the most sense and that, he thought were the best fit and that Jerry wasn't going to have a problem for the most part moving him to. And that was Denver, Houston, Kansas City, and Arizona. Arizona, since then, obviously their quarterback, Carson Palmer, came back, said, I'm definitely playing next year, so they're off the list. Kansas City, John Dorsey convinced me at the Combine thoroughly and wholeheartedly that there's no chance anyone other than Alex Smith is his starter in September. So there's only 2 teams from that original list that are there. I don't think Elway's trading for him, and I don't know that Houston would love to trade for him, but that's what a lot of people think they should do.
Well, why would anybody trade for him? It's obvious
to
that
ensure that you get him. He'll restructure his deal afterwards, but do you want to have to compete with John Elway? You beat him on Brock Osweiler. How'd that work out for you? Like if that's who it comes down to, I don't know that's the position you want to be in. Who's going to make the better sales pitch? Which team does he think is closer? Who has the better defense? I mean, if it's me, and I've built that team, and I'm getting J.J. Watt back, and you only have to carry Osweiler for one more year, and you're in Super Bowl or bust mode, and you're in that division where the only guys who can rush the passer are on your team, so you don't have to worry as much about injury. And I'm on a fast track in a dome. We drafted all these weapons last year. We couldn't get the ball to them. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. And if I have to part with a 3 or a 4, what's the difference? And it's not like he wants to play there. He'll go push some of Osweiler's money into future years. Go take the big hit after June 2018. Tony will play ball with you to facilitate the money around that, and go try to win a Super Bowl.
Does that also mean signing Bouye again? Because I mean he's about to get paid
I don't
big
think that's
time.
going to make sense. They've drafted a lot of corners in recent years, and that's a position where they still feel pretty good.
So where does he go?
I mean, you got Cleveland, San Francisco.
And they can spend.
There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams sniffing around on corners. We'll have to see. The Bears are another one that's big on corners. Do the Bears land Gilmore? He's been a guy that I've heard linked to them. If they do, then the San Francisco makes sense for Bouye. He's going to do just fine. I'll put it to you that way. He's going to do all right.
Is there a Jimmy Graham trade out there that's going to shock us when the league year starts in 2 days?
It wouldn't shock me. That's kind of a silly thing to say. But
right.
Nothing shocks me really in this league anymore. And we see, the perennial coach that nobody thought was going to be gone, who either leaves on his own accord or has a falling out or what have you. Certainly we've seen teams, sort of the mystery team, actually emerge for free agents, become the highest, paying suitor. So, there certainly could be. There certainly could be.
Well, what do you think it might be?
That do better.
I know. I mean, what are you hearing?
He asked me to predict something.
No, but I mean, is there some?
Happen, but I have no idea.
No, look.
I have no idea who it's going to include.
I mean, anything outlandish at the combine that you hear that you're willing to share that you think?
No, I mean, nothing. Nothing that sounded like out of the realm of possibility, or nothing where I was just like, get the bleep out of here.
Even the Romo three-way with the Redskins, Jason.
Well, that was never. I mean, that was fake news. That was not.
Hashtag fake news.
That was not. Yeah, that was.
And what is going on with Scott? What is going on with Scott McCloughan? Best you can tell, Jason. I know you were tweeting about it.
I talked to people very close to him. People who were with him. He's watching film. He's grinding. He is operating as best he can as the Redskins general manager, even though he obviously, has been kind of quarantined or isolated here. He is still under their employ. He is not in rehab. But, do I think he'll be there in May? No, I absolutely do not. And could they, could they make a move to terminate him for cause or not for cause or otherwise before the draft? That's possible as well. At this point, though, they're in damage control mode, hence the 2-year extension with Gruden. So I don't think it would happen until after the draft at this point. But he certainly had no hand in their machinations at the draft. I don't expect him to have much say in free agency or in who they draft. I mean, he'll continue to file reports. That'll be their proprietary information, I suppose, as long as he's under their employ. But that looks like it's headed for a divorce. And if it's anything like typical Redskins business, other than the last 2 years, it'll be a messy divorce.
Well, I mean, you covered him for the Post all those years before you joined the NFL Network.
I really thought that they were kind of, stabilizing. I mean, you could have made the point coming into last season, that they were the least tumultuous franchise in that division. I mean, right? You had who's the Eagles quarterback going to be, and you had the Chip Kelly stuff with Howie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nuclear and all that. And, the Giants went out and spent $200 million in free agency because everybody's worried they're going to lose their jobs, and they finally parted with Tom Coughlin and all the drama from that. And then you had the Cowboys where at that point last year, Romo's hurt again, and nobody knew who Dak Prescott was, and, Jerry's kind of running around doing his thing. But obviously right now, the Skins are back in familiar terrain, unfortunately.
All right, Jason, thanks for calling. We'll call you back shortly. Love having you on.
Sounds good, dude.
You got to say hi to Copper for me.
He's right here.
Give him a
Hi,
treat.
Copper.
Give him a treat.
Always do. Always do. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Jason LaCanfora.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.